Hello and welcome to video for A5 for the Bargue Shading Assignment Series. This is assignment A5. These are both for the foot. So this one here is for this section of the foot. When we put this all together, that's this square. And then this one is up here at the ankle. I think that this might be a relatively quick drawing compared to what we have been doing because we don't have a lot of shading and things are relatively simple here. So let's see how long this takes. Again, we're going to look at where do the points intersect? Where does the foot figure intersect with the edge of the page? We're going to line things right straight across going up. We're going to try to capture these curves just like they are in the original drawing. We're always going to move our eyes back and forth to try to make this happen accurately. And then I'm going to look at this little area. Where does this roll into the toe happen? We've got a light area here, a light area here. Okay. That seems fine. Now this is behaving as an outline. So we are going to have a dark line here. Usually I'm telling you not to put dark lines outlining things because it makes it look like a cartoon when we're drawing. It's very tempting for beginner drawers and draftsmen to outline everything and then shade as if you're making a coloring book, and that's really not the way we want to think about this at all. But because the roll of the shape of this foot is moving away from us dramatically enough that there's light area and then it's hitting shadow, it's going to look like an outline. And we don't want to avoid making it look the way it does because we think, oh, that's an outline, we shouldn't do that. It looks like an outline, but really it's just really quick moving away from the light. Quick transition, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to get some shading in here. My pencil's already dull because I didn't start out by sharpening it. We're going to change directions, and we're essentially following the same processes every time we do one of these drawings. And I try to talk about different things every time I make a drawing, but essentially this is repetitive and by design because we're getting practice. And some of you are really at this point able to see the pattern. But the purpose of these lessons is to learn to shade with a pencil. Got a little bit of linear shading going on here. And as my eyes adjust to this, I see that this area is darker. There's a little bit of light here, or at least a little bit of a dark mid-tone. It can be intimidating to start a drawing, but we just need to get going. We need to get into it. We need to have marks on the page. And then once we have things that we can react to, we have a much easier time of building things and making this into something. So I'm looking for my 2B. Here's my 2B. Needs just a little bit of sharpness. Okay. And again, I'm using the point of my pencil, not the side of the tip of my pencil because I want the sharpness. That's what's going to give me the clarity in my drawing. Okay. Got this nice rim of shadow right along here. And I want to make sure that I'm noticing how it's getting connected in with the other parts of the shadow so that it doesn't end up being oversimplified and becoming an outline. I want all the shading that I do to articulate the form. Okay, I'm starting to have some relative value here that I can compare against, which is great. Okay. And I had a student ask me, my student that asks very good questions, asked me, how do you get these marks in these dark areas to not look like you have the pencil going in a certain direction, and we're just gonna change the direction of our pencil. We're gonna look at what we're doing and try to cover our tracks. And there are limits to how soft we can get things. But I had him go over and look at my drawings that I hang on the board because it's really helpful to see things in person. Okay, I'm gonna go to an H. I think I have an H out here, sitting here. Okay, I have a 2H. Oh, here's my H, good. Okay, it needs to be sharpened. I'm gonna go to an H for this spot here. These areas where we're just getting into this slow transition, or really soft transition, I should say. And I'm gonna start looking at using my eraser, because if I go back and forth between the pencil and the eraser, I can start to have control over the subtlety. So if I can incorporate both tools in these edges, it'll soften it by two different methods, and I'm not reliant just on one thing. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my number 2. Try to get some of these shades in. And if I pounce them with an eraser, they're still there, but just not as prominent. Let's see. I think I need a darker pencil to finish this out, so let's go to a 4B. And look, especially at these darker areas. And this really clear crease, that helps tell me exactly where I am on the foot. Okay. And not too bad. Problem with a simple drawing is you have to really make sure it works. Complexity hides things. All right, I'm going to consider this one to be done. We're going to move on down here. So I want to look at where are things in relationship. Let me get it up here where you can see it. Okay. And then I want to see where things intersect. When you have a shape like this. I'm always flicking my eyes back and forth, looking at both. Both shapes, do they echo each other? If not, I need to change mine. Okay, so we're gonna look at where is this bump in relationship to this bump? And then what is the curve here? Okay, and then I'm counting this as a shape because that's a really clear shape. And this undulates a little bit. Okay, and I want to get this spacing right. Okay. Now we're going to lay in a tone. So my pencil sharp enough I can get a little bit more out of it before I need to sharpen it. I want to just lay in this tone so that I can start to see these relative values just like always. Okay. Okay, now at least I've started. This actually helps me see the shapes a little better. I'm not sure I love this one. But I haven't pressed very hard, so I can move any of this that I want with ease. Okay, I'm going to need to clean this line up, but I'm going to do that with a little bit darker pencil, so we'll see how this goes. And then this is going to be a transition. Now I've left a line over here to be able to see where this shape is going to end, but I'm going to want to get rid of that line. It's just a construction line. this is a harder edge here. So this transition is more of a line. Well, let's see. I better watch it there because this is a soft transition too. Okay, and so it is down here. So I don't want hard outlines. This gives me an opportunity to show that this hard edge, relatively hard edge, is intentional because I'm going to make this into this soft edge. And that will convince my viewer that I am really showing what's there and I'm not just outlining everything and coloring it in. One of the ways to create interest is through contrast. And if I can have contrast between hard edges and soft edges, that's going to be great. Okay, and then this actually got this, and then it's dark here. A little bit dark. I mean, there's shade there. Yeah. Okay. I keep changing this. I know I keep changing this. All right, I think I'm happy with that. So let me get in here with something a little darker. We're going to go to a 2B. I'm going to build up this tone. And I'm going to the 2B because then I don't have to put as many layers to get the same level of dark tone. And I'm excited because we got 2 assignments after this, and they are simpler than this one, I think. So we're in the home stretch of making this foot and this hand holding a wet stone. And then when we put it all together, I think we'll have a sense of accomplishment. Okay, I'm going outside the line right there, but I'm going to come back and fix that. And then I also want to remember that I had 6B in the last one. I've used 6B a couple of times, and I think that this right here is a darkest dark for this whole drawing. And so I want to make sure that I get a 6B in here to create some coherence. Plus, I think it'll help get these darks like right there and right there. There's a little bit of difference throughout this tone. I'm turning my pencil just a little bit so that I can get the last out of this sharpness of my pencil. Okay, so now that I know that that's what I want to do, I'm going to go to my 6B. I'm going to go ahead and go to it. I'm going to start to see this as a whole piece. I'm going to refine this edge a little more. Okay, so this is my darkest dark. There's the core shadow. It's very subtle. But once that ankle falls away from that spot, it gets slightly lighter. So I want to make sure that I keep this darker so that I know where I am in this drawing and I can pick up those subtleties. And I'm I'm changing the direction of my pencil, which I need to be intentional about because it's very easy to just kind of fall into a pattern of I always shade at a 45-degree angle or something like that. So just watch what you're doing. Stay alert and cover your tracks. Just to come out a little further. And I see this edge right here where it starts to change value. So I don't want to go farther than that. Okay. So I just want to push right here a little bit. With this 6B, there's kind of this wave in here. And I'm going to get the 6B. No, it goes dull fast. Okay. I got this highlight too far over. And the eraser can kind of make a rim around the line that it's erased, and I want to be careful of that too, because it can kind of deposit a lot of graphite in this one area along the line. So if it's doing that, I want to erase the eraser line. And here I'm going to pounce to make this soft transition. Right here, I want this transition to start to soften so that I can show the contrast from where it's hard here and then get soft. Okay. going to go in here with an H very lightly because I don't want to incise this paper, and H is going to be hard to erase if I want to. So I want to feather this edge, this transition. This is my number 2. And I have this little dark spot that developed. So I'm going to hit that. And once I make this transition, I can hit it one more time on this dark area with the 6B. This part's a little bit darker. Right here. And again, as my eyes adjust, and as I get more value on this drawing, I'm able to see more difference, more subtlety between the values. All right, this is getting a little bit dark, so I'm going to pounce right here, just through this middle part. Okay, that's better. Okay, now I'm going back in with my 6B to get those darks, and I am close to being done. It's kind of amazing how it happens. I still see light shining through the white from my paper, so I'm gonna just keep working with this a little bit until I get rid of that. Okay, now I'm gonna watch this transition just a little more closely. I don't want this hard edge right here, so I've got a stray mark here. I don't know if I can get rid of it. I think this is wrong. I think this line is just a little bit farther over. Okay, now I'm gonna clean up this line. I'm gonna use my 2H, or sorry, 2B. Get that in there. I'm gonna carve away the inside of this. Okay. All right. Still don't like this shape. I'm gonna bring it back just a little bit more. pressure. All right, I'm fairly happy with that. All right, there we go. That one's finished. And I'll see you next time.